Yo, my people, it's a month in, man. It feels like it's been so much longer. I swear, the first episode I made, it feels like it was so long ago, bro. That's how I know that this challenge is really starting to just get a bit long. I feel a difference, but then, like, at the same time, it's like, because I'm trying to stay into a routine, I find it a bit different compared to just being in a routine knowing you can just, do whatever sometimes. Luckily, getting the water in is like kind of easy now because it's warmer. If I spaced out my drinking and whatever throughout the day, it's a lot easier compared to just dumping it all in one time in the day. How it is, it's just mentally, it's just such a big mental challenge for you. That's the whole point of it. It's not necessarily to do with the certain things like reading, exercising, getting yourself to do it. It's just convincing yourself to actually do this challenge. That's probably the hardest part. It's not necessarily the actual challenge because once you actually start doing it, it's not that difficult. It's like training. How many times have you gone to the gym? Convincing yourself to go, to convince yourself to do your walk or your run, whatever. When you don't want to do it, that's what makes a world difference in this challenge, man. I want to kind of give you guys like a story time. I was like I'm talking to flipping babies, but I thought it'd be just something cool to spice up the content, give you guys an idea of how I kind of like grew up in a sense, or just give you, it's basically an experience. So I wouldn't say it's really how I grew up. It's just an experience, but I still remember it. And it was literally probably 10 or more than 10 years ago by now. So the experience is the first time I was in a mosque. From what I remember, I was probably in a mosque before that, but from what I remember, I was definitely not in a mosque after this time for a very, very long time. From what I remember, like I said, innit? This experience, I remember it pretty decent. So my first time in a mosque, I'm probably about 10-ish, maybe younger, maybe older. If I was older, I'd probably be like a really early teenager, right? And I've said previously that I grew up in a Muslim Christian household. My mum's side are Muslim, my dad's side are Christian. I did say that my mum wasn't around that much, but when she did, she wanted to take me to the mosque. And my dad was cool with it, to be honest. He didn't really, I haven't really, I don't think he actually had much to say about it. I think he wanted to kind of just wait until like we grew up to like actually ask us what kind of like what do you stand by or what's your faith, what like that sort of thing. When we was younger, he just, I don't know, I'm not too sure. Like I said, I already knew about Christianity a lot because in my school there was more Christianity. There was barely any Muslims, nothing about Islam in school. I was 10, 12, whatever, really young. And these times I'm wearing my snapback. I'm into my like American vibes. I remember I had like a purple snapback. It was like a New York one. Like, you know how the letters overlap each other? I was into that kind of fashion. Like kind of like hip hop fashion, right? I'm a light skinned kid, bro. That was the kind of stuff that I was into. A part of me is still there. Like, I'll be real. Like, that's just how I've been. I remember the mosque being like very big, and I still remember some images in my mind, but they're very like vague now. But I know now if I was to go to that exact same mosque, and I don't know where it is, I don't know what it looks like, but I know it would be a lot smaller if I saw it now compared to when I went first, because obviously I was smaller, I was younger. It's like when you go to a kids play, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, it's big, maybe like kid space or maybe like a really well-known soft play area. But when you turn into an adult, or maybe when you have children, you can look at it and be like, this ain't even that big compared to when I remember it. At the time, it felt big, but I know now if I was to go, I wouldn't have to recognize it, and it just wouldn't be as big. I know there was a girl section and there was a guy section. On my mum's side, only my mum's side took me. My dad wasn't in the photo in this situation. My mum's side, they're only women. I don't have no uncles. I didn't have a granddad. I had in-laws, but I don't think they were there. So they were all women, right? My grandmother was there. Everyone. My cousins were female. Just I was the only guy in the mosque was separated. Man and female, they're separated. I'm scratching my head. I'm thinking, bro, I can't do this, man. I don't know anything about anything right now. But I don't remember how the conversation happened, but I just know I had to go in there. And I was thinking to my sister and my cousins, bro, you're so lucky, man. Why am I here by myself? Everything. I was just so scared. I was a shy kid. Even though I was into like my like R&B phase, I was still a shy kid, bro, like wearing my snapback and whatever. I didn't know anything to do with religion at this point. Like, I'm young. Like, if you teach me anything, I'm just like any other kid at this point. Kind of just there, scared, don't know anyone. Uh, just thinking about how my other side of my family have got everyone to talk to, and I'm just here like I don't know no one. But I did actually end up making some friends. I don't know how long it took me, but knowing myself back then, it probably took me a while. But I think I did get approached by some like kids around my age. They probably noticed I was just bare scared. I didn't know who to talk to. I wasn't doing anything correctly, so I got approached by some young kids, whatever, and I'm like, yeah, bro, like, You know, I probably said my name. They probably said like salam. I probably didn't say it back. I don't know innit, because I didn't know anything. They were cool, and then we was like, oh, let's go KFC down the road. And bear in mind, where this mosque is isn't where I live. It was never like this was quite far from my house because where I was living and where we met up with my mum's side, we don't live very close to each other. We live like an hour drive away. So I'm in an area where I don't really know where anything is, and these lot want to go KFC. I don't even know them properly. These lot can probably just, they could be some next people just because they're in a mosque. I don't know who they are. So I've got a really big like, decision to make. It. Do I trust these random people? Oh yeah, they're great, they're Muslim, but I don't know them. So I was like, okay, cool, let's just go KFC, whatever, right? Went KFC, and these times I had a Blackberry. I think it was a Blackberry Bold. Pretty sure it was a white one. White or like a purple or... I think it was white or purple. I'm not 100%. But these times BBM was a thing. Icebreaker, I think. So no iPhones, no smartphones. It was just dead ass, just Blackberry. I don't know if I actually got them on my Blackberry at the time. But I remember like broadcasts and all of that. And that was probably like a thing. But cool. We got the KFC, we ate, and we came back. Now, remember, I said I was a scared kid. I don't know what's going on. I'm just kind of just following whatever. I now have to trust these people, and I'm hoping these people, don't screw me over. Because if they leave me in KFC, I'm probably lost. But they were actually really good guys. And we came back to the mosque, and they've made me feel really comfortable. Now, what's really funny is that there's like a really big stereotype about people who leave their shoes in the mosque. Don't bring expensive shoes in the mosque because people are going to take them in a whole mosque. So I'm thinking to myself, right, okay, I just bought this purple snapback that, I like. It's meant to be part of my personality. It makes me feel cool or confident. I put the snapback where my shoes are, right? Because I knew, it's probably not ideal to be wearing a hat in a mosque. I didn't really think it was like the right thing to do. So I just put it with the shoes. Bro, I was ready to leave now. I forgot who got in contact with me, but I remember it was ready to, my time is done, I can go home. I put my shoes on, my hat was gone. I still remember it. My hat was gone. And you know what's funny? I didn't even bother trying to ask, oh, have you seen my hat? I was like, what? It's alright, cool. I think even one of my friends that I met was like, oh, did you not have a hat with you? And I was like, yeah, nah, forget it, bro. Like, I was just such like a just scared kid the whole time. And I wouldn't say it was traumatizing, but it was a very different and uncomfortable experience in the sense of I didn't know anyone and I was really forced to, get to know people and put my trust in certain people who I don't even know. And when it comes to, small things like, oh, where's my hat? I was just like, yeah, no, I don't know, bro. Forget it. It's cool. In my head, I'm thinking, bro, my hat's gone, man. I want my hat back. In no position to be like, make a fuss over a hat. I just thought, what, it's cool. I'll just get over it. But I was into my snapbacks. I was into my little, like, the way I dressed in it. I had such weird hairstyles as well, man. I think I was very influenced by the people who I was around. And that was, like I said, a very long time ago. Over 10 years, maybe the 10-year mark, I don't know. And I did not step foot into a mosque from what I remember. I didn't step foot into a mosque until 2021 after COVID, because that was the time when I was like, okay, you know what? I want to be like a Muslim now. It took me 10 years from that position, from that situation, to be like, oh, I want to be, a Muslim. And like I said earlier, my dad was like, I'm not too fast if you, go mosque, whatever. He didn't really care. But when I grew up, when I was like at a 16, 17-year-old, when I was at like a 16, 17, he said to me, okay, I want you to pick a faith. You either be a Muslim or you be a Christian. He didn't want me to live my life, having no faith in God or having no idea of what kind of God to, or just like being like an atheist, having an atheist mindset. And like that experience of being in a mosque, didn't know anyone, I was scared. It just really held in my mind for a very long time. And I was not ready to go back into a mosque unless I know anyone. And like I said, at the time, all my mum's side, they're all women. I can't go into the mosque with women. I'm not going to get in there. If I was maybe 3, 4, then maybe. But I was a grown ass kid. Oh, it took me a very long time to, see the mosque as like a, like it was always friendly, but it was just a mental thing. Like, I don't know anyone. Everyone's doing something. Like, I didn't know how to do anything. A lot of words were said that I didn't understand. So I knew it's going to take me a long time for me to, get back into the mosque, into going into a mosque willingly. I knew I wanted to go with someone. I went after COVID. I remember I was wearing a mask, everything. I didn't have any much Muslim friends. And I said this before. And when I did, he lived very far from me. Not very far, but like if there's traffic, bro, it's gonna take like a long time. And just to go to the mosque, when there's usually mosques around a lot of people, an hour to travel to just like an ordinary mosque was a bit like I, I was willing to do it because I was willing to go with someone. I knew there was mosques near me, but I didn't know anyone in my area. So every Friday when it'll come to Jummah prayer, I would always go down to my friend's mosque, and it would always be like an hour drive or like maybe half an hour if I'm lucky. I was getting used to how to pray. I knew how to pray by then, but like praying in a row with round people. Initially, I was a bit like, I'm not too sure if I was really uncomfortable, but I did feel comfortable doing it because everyone's doing it. So why would I feel different about it? I didn't go for a good like 10 years. And the time I did go when I was a child, I was just screaming in my head saying, oh, this is such a scary experience. I don't know anyone. My hat got stolen, like just some silly stuff. So that was my first experience with a mosque. I didn't really think I was really gonna go into a mosque after that. I was like, yeah, bro, forget it, man. But life has its own stories and gifts and surprises for all of us. Even like when I was in year 10, year 11, when I was 15, 16, if my 16-year-old saw my 22-year-old self and thought wearing like a thobe or wearing a scarf, he'll be laughing. He'll be thinking, what are you wearing, man? I wouldn't call it a bad experience. It was just a more of like, I was just scared to do something that I didn't want to do. Like a lot of times my confidence held me back in a lot of things, especially when I was younger. And in my head, like I just didn't like being uncomfortable. First time in a mosque wasn't my last time. And I'll see you guys on day number 30.